Hello. Welcome back to another ASMR video, guys. Hope you're all doing wonderful. Let's get that heater on. Today, as you can see, I'm doing a soft-spoken video. If you can hear a buzz in the background, I apologise, that is the heater now. But I'm going to be doing another, not whispering, I'll say whispering. I'm doing a soft-spoken video. Looking through the Monster Manual. So with the upcoming release of the updated Monster Manual for the 2024 5th edition rule set of Dungeons and Dragons, I thought I'd do sort of like a look through the Monster Manual once again, because as much as the other books still have their uses, I have a feeling that this chap will not see any use from me once that book releases, because I will be using those updated monsters, I imagine. So, with that said, I am going to just have a little look through. I have done a video like this before in the past. I'm pretty sure with the Monster Manual. I think it was a whispered video, and I'm pretty sure it was a gum-chewing video as well, so I'm going to be doing more of a soft-spoken here to kind of make sure that it's a little bit different. But this is sort of like a retroactive look back at the Monster Manual. I'm going to do basically the same thing we did last time. It's just kind of a flip through and looking at the book. And maybe we'll stop in and talk about a few monsters along the way. But this is kind of like a nostalgic look back as we maybe use this thing for the last time in the coming weeks before the Monster Manual releases, because I certainly have not used the last two rule books since, but they still have like subclasses and stuff in there, and there's some like obscure rules and tables that are still useful for GMs if you want to use them, but like the dungeon building stuff in the original Dungeon Master's Guide is still, in my opinion, a little bit better than what we get in the new one. But the Monster Manual, I think, will see its lifespan come to an end, which is crazy to think this has been now 10 years of this book. Or over 10 years technically, if you want to be pedantic about it. But now it starts. We've got the Monster Manual, and the very front cover page is, of course, a copper dragon. Obviously, you're going to be seeing this in a lower res because I stream with Streamlabs, and it reduces the quality of the video substantially. I apologise, but there we go. And we've got our table of contents, all the monsters on here. And I'm looking forward to the new Monster Manual with a different type of layout and some actual tables, because in the back there's not even tables for the monsters in this book. There's no like by environment, by challenge rating, by creature type. It's quite literally just an index. So we're going to just glance through. Of course, we've got the sort of introduction to the Monster Manual, things about what monsters are, what they like, the different environments that they might be in, running through what the stat blocks mean, so all the details on the stat blocks, talking about proficiency, which doesn't actually exist on the sheets. They never tell you what the proficiency is. You have to sort of relate to this box to figure out what the proficiency bonus for creatures are, but I believe now in the new stat blocks they include it next to the challenge rating, the proficiency bonus, which I think is a nice quality of life change. A little bit about experience by challenge rating, talking about a bunch of stuff to do with senses, all the stuff you'd expect to see. And then we've got some special traits. This is an interesting one here, talking about innate spell casting. Yeah, I think it's just talking about. Oh, I like this little dungeon artwork. I'm just seeing this is quite a nice little bit of artwork. Some ooze and slime pouring from there, probably. Yeah, I was just seeing. Yeah, I was just seeing if it was going to talk about Psionics. Oh, here it is. It's here. Psionics at the bottom. But yeah. yeah, it's just talking about tags. I was just interested to see what it would say about psionics in here. Alright, so we start off at the front of the book, looking at some Aaron Cochrane here, the sort of eagle humanoid folk. We've got an aboleth, which is a fun monster to use, which is a kind of a weird aberration. I like aboleths. They seldom get much use, but I do enjoy them. And then we come on to the first like real section of the book, which is like a sub type, I guess, which is angels under celestials. And we've got a bunch of different angels here, very similar looking. Obviously the artwork in these are very much like here's the creature. It's like what you would see in a bestiary or whatever you would maybe put on that term, telling you a little bit about the creatures. Otherwise they don't really look that different, do they, except for the skin tone. They're more or less the same, which is interesting. But the new Monster Manual has more like action shots, which I think is more interesting. I think there's valuable stuff in both of those, but there you go. So just going to be glancing through. Stat blocks are very simple. I know one of the things that they really want to change about the new Monster Manual is making creatures do more than just like have a stat block where it's hit with a weapon and that's it, giving more interesting things. And I do find that like sometimes a creature might look really interesting, but ultimately like what can it do except hit and then hit again, or with a different weapon. Like it ends up being that some creatures are only visually different based on a token, as opposed to an actual like statistical or statistic change, like, you know, the stats basically of the creature. Like the stats are exactly the same, is what I'm trying to say there. A basilisk here, which actually, the funny thing about the basilisk is it looks a lot bigger than it actually is. And that looks like a huge creature, but it's about, I mean, it's not small, I guess it's about the size of a person, like a very large dog, I guess. And we've got Behir here, which is a dragon-like creature. I guess it's technically actually it's not a dragon-like creature, it's a monstrosity. I don't know why, I always just think they're very kind of draconic. Actually, foes of the dragons, yeah, forget about that. And then we've got the poster boy of the book. It's a nice like shot. I think the cover is quite nice. We've got the beholders, which are fun. We've got lots of information about them. Each monster comes generally with a little bit of a lore about them, some information. We've got the death tyrant, the beholder, some info about them, what they're like. Interesting that some of this artwork goes over the stat block. I've actually never noticed that before. And then we've got the spectator, sort of a smaller one. We get into blights here, and I mean they're kind of very, very simple, right? Like for example here, it's like this twig light basically can just be invisible, and then it attacks with some claws, and that's about it. I mean sometimes that's all you really need, a challenge rating of that level, but you know, sometimes having just a few different things to make the creature feel unique tends to add some flavour there. We've got bugbears here. Bullet, which is a coral burying creature. If you played Baldur's Gate 3 and went into the Underdark, you'll know what this thing is because it's probably chasing you through the Underdark all the time. Fun encounter with them. We've got carrion crawlers, cambions, a fiend, which is sort of a half devil, centaur, chimera. All these different monsters here. Cloaker, which, believe it or not, I've never used in the game, but I actually would like to use them. And they've got quite a cool stat block there. I don't actually know how to say this one. Coltal, perhaps. Do you know what they should include? They should include some like pronunciation guides here. Is what they should. I don't know if they'll do that in the new one. I doubt it, but it would be good. Be useful. Cockatrice, Cyclops, And I've already seen some like details about the Cyclops in the new book, where they've added a few more interesting things in, which I think is quite cool. Death Knight's Dark Mantle. And we'll just start going through a little bit quicker here, but we've got Demilich, which is kind of like a partial lich, I suppose, as the name suggests. Quite a high level spellcaster. And then we get into demons. We don't have any of the demon lords here, but we do have details on them. The demon lords are actually given stat blocks in Mordkin's Tome of Foes / Monsters of the Multiverse. And then we've got some information about each of the different demon types. Yeah. There we go. Got the Balor, which is one of the big demons. Very cool. We've got some demon summoning variations here, which is pretty cool. And then a few different demons here. Looking through these, very different types. Lots of demons here. Then we get into devils, stuff about the hierarchy of devils. Got a little bit of a information thing there. It's pretty cool. Some details on the Nine Hells. Not much about the different layers, I don't think, but let me go into each of those different types that are presented here. We don't get the demon, or sorry, the archdevils here. Again, they come in the other book. Well, actually, I don't even think they really come in the other book. There's a few of them, I think, but most of them we don't really get stats for. And then we've got the devils here, which is pretty cool. Obviously, the higher the CR, the more deadly they are, the more dangerous they become. And we've got the Pit Fiend here, which is the kind of like big devil creature. And then we get dinosaurs, because of course D&D needs some dinosaurs. We've got some stats for a couple of dinosaurs here, not a lot. We don't really have artwork for really any of them, save for that tiny image of a T-Rex there, which is interesting because it looks like it's just like pure like exposed muscle, which is a weird sort of bit of artwork. I hope they update that with the new one. Displacer Beast, which is quite cool. I think this image does justice to the Displacer Beast, because one of the hard things about the Displacer Beast is sort of creating artwork that represents the fact that it is sort of like blurry. And here it looks like an optical illusion where it's got more legs than it should, and it doesn't attach into places, and that's supposed to be reflective of like, oh, you go and like strike at it, but it isn't quite there. I think they would have benefited from maybe like a slightly translucent version, sort of shifted to the side, but you know, that is as it is. Then we've got some doppelgangers, the Dracolich. I think this art with the Dracolich, I will be honest, it kind of sucks. The Dracolich here does not look that imposing for a CR 17 creature. That is what it looks like. You know, I think it benefits from, I'm pretty sure, some artwork of the new Dracolich, which is basically an undead dragon. It's a lich dragon, more or less, which looks far more deadly and imposing. And I know they've redone a bunch of the Shadow Dragon stuff. They've changed it so that it's no longer like an add-on, what do you call it, stat block, where you add stuff from the original. They have their own stat block now, which I think has, you know, it's you know, it's hard to really say, because like adding things where you can merge stat blocks together is pretty cool, like what this is designed to be, but at the same time it's not very accessible, so I kind of get why. And then we get into the sort of the meat of the book, which is of course the dragons. They are the fun stuff. So we've got black dragons, blue dragon there, the green dragon. All of this artwork has been completely redone and made them feel more, I think, more imposing. red dragon here, because at the moment the bestiary just does not do justice to them. Also, some of this artwork, as stunning as it looks, is just like covered up by the book, you know, like you can't really see the artwork behind it, which is a shame to cover up such beautiful artwork. Like I'm guessing it's designed to kind of indicate the sort of layers that they have, right? Like if you look at them, it's supposed to be layers. Got the white dragon there. Then we get into the metallic dragons. We've got the brass, the copper. Oh no, sorry, bronze. The next one would probably be copper. There we go, there's a copper one that was on the front of the book. The gold dragon, which is, all these dragons have been like reasonably redesigned. Silver dragon there, and then we go on to the dragon turtle. It's very similar, and then we move out of dragons to just the D's, so Dryad, Dryder, Durgar, and we get some elementals here. Now into elves, specifically the drow here. Some spider stuff in the background, Ettercaps, another Celestial Imperium, Etin, Fairy Dragon, Flump, Flame Skull. All of these are like standard D&D creatures, really. Some fungi, which I think is interesting. They don't really do much, but it's a stat block if you need one, I guess. Gelobdur, quite an interesting creature. Gargoyles, always fun to use for horror, the Strahd. A Dow, now we're getting to the genies. Or the Jinn, I guess, what they're called. Yeah, just genies. So the different sort of like elemental genies. Ghosts. Wolves. And this is what I meant, like, in another video. I'm pretty sure I did another video. I don't remember what one it was. What was it? I can't remember. But in that video, like, I said, like, I'm pretty sure this is a ghast, not a ghoul, and that is what the artwork is meant to be. It's a ghast. I can't remember what one it was now. I think it was oh, it was the Stormwreck Isle book. I don't know when that will come out. So yeah, in that book, I had seen that they put like ghouls on there, but put the artwork for the ghast. So I don't know, is that a ghoul? I don't know. That's kind of the issue, right? It's not clear. Because that's certainly not the artwork they use for the ghouls in Roll20 for their tokens. And so now we come on to the giants, which are kind of interesting. The stat blocks are really kind of bland, to be honest. And that was one of the biggest criticisms, was the giants just like hit with a rock, hit with a club, that's it, you know. Then we got the Gith, which I'll be interested to see how they adapt their stat blocks. Gnolls, which again I'm interested to see what they do with them, which are now fiends, no longer humanoid. Sverfneblin, i.e. the deep gnomes. Goblins, it's going to be more goblins, which I'm looking forward to. Different types of golems. Gorgon, which is the bull, not the Medusa, not to be confused. You might also see these little post-it notes. I can't wait to be using a book without these in there. Back in the day I used to put them on for key monsters that I preferred to use, and now I regret it. They've all fallen out and worn away over years and decades of use, well, a decade of use. We've got Grick, Grell here, Grimlock, Griffins. Get into the hag section, a bit about hag covens, different bits of artwork for the hags. Some of this artwork is really hit or miss. I think you'll probably agree with me there. Not because the artist is bad, but because it doesn't necessarily reflect the creature that they're going for. Especially the dragons, I feel, really don't feel like the weight of some of this artwork. You don't feel the, like, you look at the artwork and go, oh, that is something, like, that is, I can imagine the danger. big spread for the Hobgoblin Warlord here. I do appreciate that, and it's a nice bit of artwork. That really do like that one. And just a random sword, random sword, rather than give us additional Hobgoblin art. They put the sword there. I don't know why, but there you go. Homunculus, Cora, Intellect Devours Hydras. I do like a Hydra. Invisible Stalker, Jackalware. I've never used one of those ever. Kenku, Kobolds, Krakens. I'm just kind of like flipping through the book at this point, aren't I? I was going to do something where I sit down and just like look at some of the monsters, but yeah, I'm just kind of glancing through because it's a big book. Maybe we'll go through afterwards and look, but we'll see how time permits. Kuatoa. I hadn't used these like really ever, and then I ran a game where there was a bunch of drow under Silvery Moon, and they had effectively like brought up a bunch of Kuatoa with them as sort of foot soldiers, and they're easily manipulated after their attacks and sort of enslavement from the Illithid. So they were like put in. Lamia, never really used one of those, but I'm pretty sure that's what in Critical Role, that's what the creature was originally in the the basement of the Slayer's Take. I'm pretty sure it's one of these, not a Sphinx, but I could be wrong. I'm actually not sure. It's Chaotic Evil, maybe I'm wrong there. I just remember at the time thinking that, and then we've got the big boy, the Lich. I'll be interested to see what they do to change the Lich up, honestly. I've just noticed like the different artwork here. This one is obviously some other art than they did for it, basically the same except he's got hair. This is obviously a Red Wizard of Thay, you can tell here because of the clothing and the forehead and the markings. It's very much Thay. But anything can be a Lich. Lizard of Oak there. Werewolves, the very clear reference to Beauty and the Beast here. I don't know if you kind of get that or not, but that's what that's meant to be. Some other lycanthropes here. Werebear, were tiger, werewolf, manticore, magamin even. And there's the Medusa, not to be confused with the Gorgon. Mephits, different elementals. At this point, about halfway through the book. Merfolk, Mero, some good stuff there. And the Mimic, and then into the Mind Flayer, which is a shame. It's like given one page. Crazy, isn't it? Because I guess back in the day that's it, and now it is the alternate artwork. D&D has gone from like historically having basically the Beholder and Dragons be the poster boys of D&D, and now it's kind of the Mind Flayers. I guess Solarian Studios is to thank for that, but yeah, Mind Flayers are kind of the big thing in D&D now, really. Minotaur, Modrons that just get shafted all the time. No one remembers the Modrons, unless you're doing a Planescape adventure. Mummies, Mummy Lord, which is pretty cool. A very deadly encounter. If you get yourself into that not prepared, Myconids, basically mushroom people. I always find like it's very funny that Myconids are counted as plant creatures. I'm counted as plants when, like, you know, and I'm not a botanist or a biologist here, by the way, so I can only recount the factual information that I have seen by people that are those within those fields. But mushrooms and fungus is more closely related to animals than it is to plants, so it's funny to see them put down as as plants. We've got the Nagas here, which are pretty cool, and then we have got Nightmare here, Nothic, Ogres, all that fun stuff, Oni. Then we get into the oozes, different types of ooze, the gelatinous cube, another kind of poster boy. Orcs, Otter-U, if I'm actually even saying that right, Owlbear, and again another little bit of a poster boy, Proton. And we just flip through here. Purple Worm is a big one that I guess never really gets used because it's quite a deadly encounter. Rakshasa, I love a good Rakshasa. Does it have its paws the right way around there? Huh. It's hard to tell if that artwork is correct or not. The Revenant there. Remorhaz? Haze? I don't know. I actually have to say that. Rock. Very fun to just throw at a player. Swanster. Salgin. I actually don't know how to say them either. Salamander, Satyr. Got some Scarecrow shadows, more like horror creatures here. Shambling Mound. Shield Guardian. Skeletons of different varieties. Need more skeleton variations is what we need. Slard. Slardy, I guess is the plural. Different types of slard there. And this is one of the rare instances we get a bunch of different versions of them shown individual here. Need like more representation of these. I have seen the artwork for the slard in the new book, and I've got to say I kind of prefer these ones. They're really good detail as well, especially, not that the other bits of artwork aren't good, but like there's a surprising amount of just like quality and detail in these images. And then we skip through here, and then we got the Death Slot. That's the big one. We've got the Spectator, and then we go into Sphinxes, or Sphinxi, whatever you'd say. Succubus, Incubus, the Tarrasque, the classic one. Doesn't really do much of a job of scaling the creature here, but there you go. Big thing. Hopefully, I know they've said that the Tarrasque is getting some new fun abilities, especially at range. Troll, Troglodyte, Umber Hulk, fun to use. I do like an Umber Hulk. Unicorn, I've used one of those before. Vampires, getting more vampires it seems. Autoid, different types of white. Will-o-wisp, Wraith, Wyverns, Zorn, Yeti, Yonti. And there's a bunch of these different, there's pure Yonti here and some abominations. Eugloths here, which are top fiend outside of demon and devils. So pretty cool. And then we get into zombies and some artwork of the zombies there on the back. Beholder zombie is interesting, but again we need really some more zombie types beyond just the regular zombie. And then we get into like some miscellaneous creatures. We get basically no artwork, save for a few pieces here and there of the more obscure creatures, I guess, that are less easy to see. Or at least less easy to visualise. They're not actual creatures in life. I say that as I go on to Hawk and Hyena and Spiders before. Mastiff. Some Piranha. There they? Oh no, Quippers. Phase Spider. Got a horse here, actually got some artwork of a horse. And then just like a bunch of stuff here. Not really much to say on this. And then we get into the last bit, which is Appendix B, or the humanoids. And at least there's some variation in here, but could use some additional things. And there we go, guys. That is the book. Basically, we're going to get the index of all the blocks, so you can find a creature in its exact page, which I guess is maybe more specific than the contents page, which is a little more like, it would just say like slide, I guess, and the index might tell you which specific page or type of slide is on. So there we go. So that is the old Monster Manual, the 2014 Monster Manual, which is about to run its course and be outdated within the next couple of weeks, which is both exciting to get a new Monster Manual and to see what they do to update some of the creatures they haven't released yet. But at the same time, it's a little bit sad. This book has seen me through since the beginning. I did feel a little bit like that with the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide, but in all honesty, during a session, I barely touch those. There's not really much of a reason to ever touch them again when you kind of have read them and know the rules. I guess that's not entirely true. I do use them in sessions sometimes, but like in comparison to this, like this is a basically there every session, and so I'm kind of used to it. It's kind of like a staple of my experience of running D&D, and one day this will just not see any use anymore, which is a little bit sad, but there you go. Maybe there will be some monsters in here that I prefer the old version of. I honestly doubt it, but who knows, who knows. So that is going to be the video today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little flip through, a little walk down memory lane for those of you that have used the old Monster Manual. And if you want me to do more of a deep dive looking into specific monsters that I'd like to just chat about, then I can do a video of this sort of angle doing that, or I can do one just like how I've done some videos in the past. But yeah, let me know in the comments, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like, consider subscribing, press that bell icon, and go check out the videos appearing over here on the side of the screen. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.